Welcome to Chai with Molly, a show where we celebrate diversity the Canadian way. This is Molly, and I look so much forward to seeing you every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. on Rogers 129. So thank you for tuning in. Today we are here at Stephen Leacock Collegiate. 42nd Division, in partnership with CPLC, was organizing a conference on bullying. We got to speak to a lot of different people here at this event, and also there were lots of experts to talk about this growing problem of bullying, which has become a major concern with our viewers and the parents and the children. So you will get to meet a lot of people as the show progresses, and you will get to have lots of information.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Catherine Martin. I'm the superintendent. I'm the unit commander in charge of 42 Division, of which Stephen Leacock is part of our area. Welcome to our inaugural 42 Division CPLC Crime Conference. I want to acknowledge the group of really dedicated volunteers that put this together, and that's the CPLC. And let me explain what that is. It's the Community Police Liaison Committee. Every division in the city has one, and 42 Division has a terrific one. They've planned this for quite some time. It's, as I said, it's the inaugural, so hopefully we'll be doing a different topic every year. The CPLC consists of representatives from local businesses, all the various neighborhoods in 42 Division, and the police officers that you see here today. We're all part of the committee. The purpose of the CPLC is really an intermediary between the citizens of 42 Division and the police officers. They give us a fresh perspective on traditional policing methods, such as today. This is a crime prevention strategy that the CPLC came up with, and we're hoping to get ahead of any crimes that could be committed by bullying.
I am delighted to be here. I know all MCs always say that when they look out at the assembled people and they say they're delighted to be here. But I am particularly because it is a subject that concerns me greatly and has for many, many years. For instance, I was never bullied at school, but I was a bully when I grew up. Like so many men of my generation, we bullied everybody around us. We were the authority on everything. Didn't make us evil people, but we did dominate everything around us in the family. We were the end decision maker about damn near everything. And I think that has harmed the children who grew up in our families over the years and harmed them greatly. Now, I do have a precedent for that. My father was that sort of bully too, and his father was that sort of bully too. It was traditional in the class and culture I grew up in. When I had children, two of my own and two adopted, yes, I bullied them in pretty much the same way, except probably not to the same degree, because my daughter, when she got married, she and her husband asked me to be the best man at the wedding, and my son, my adopted son, asked me to be the best man at his wedding. I'm not making excuses for my behavior up till then. I'm just pointing it out. So many men in families, in probably all our cultures, were like me, bullies. And may I suggest that has to stop?
I am beautiful. I'm unique. I'm special. I am one of a kind, and I will not be bullied. Hi everyone, my name is Sadaf Das, and I'm a 16-year-old girl. I've been a victim of bullying, and I'm going to be telling you my story today. When I was younger, I attended a school called Mary Shad Public School. I was very happy there. I was known and loved by everyone around me, But one day, all of that was about to change. It was the end of grade 6, and I had gotten the news from my parents that I was going to be moving to an area called Port Union. I had no idea where that was or what kind of people lived there, but I was still excited to move to another place. I was happy because though it was the end of that school and my really good friends, there was another school that was ready to have me. It was called Joseph Howe Senior Public School. My family's decision to move to a different neighborhood embarked me on a different journey. I was ill prepared for it. I really didn't know anyone there. I tried hard to make friends and to get involved, but it was just so hard. I was one of the few colored people there. I was made fun because of the tone of my skin and who I was as a person. Once, I was in the hallways and I was holding my books and they got pushed down on the floor just to amuse people. I was a laughing stock of my class, and it wasn't in a good way. The environment was different for me, something I'd never experienced before. It broke my heart. I began to hate school. It came to the point where I didn't have any motivation to even want to go to school. It was very disturbing for me, and I knew I had to let someone know about it. I let my family know what I was going through. My mother had talked to the principal, vice principal, and guidance counselor. At first, it was hard telling one because I knew that if I had told anyone, people would call me a snitch, which meant tattletale. But I knew it was the right thing to do, so I had to do it. After this, I thought my nightmare would end, but it did not. After the principal had talked to the students that harmed me, the whole school got to know about this incident. It was not a very big school, so the news spread around fast. I thought things would go better after the problem was addressed, but in fact, it got worse. I would sit alone in class and have no one to talk to, and work alone for group projects. Again, I didn't want to go to school. I never used to be alone in class. Things were just so different here. My friends would fight to have me in their groups, but here, it just wasn't like that. It was hard, but I still kept pushing on, and I wasn't going to let anything or anyone pull me down. I had a goal, and I knew my passion for so long. Ever since I was little, I always wanted to be a kindergarten teacher, and to do that, I need my education. So I stayed focused and didn't let anything come in my way. And my faith in God helped me a lot. When the middle of grade 8 came along, things were getting better. Every day, I used to pray to God that when I would go to school, He would come with me so that I wouldn't feel lonely, and I didn't. I prayed that I would at least make one friend, and I did. God answered my prayers, and I was so happy. If it wasn't for the support of God, my parents, my sisters, my aunt and uncle, and my two best friends, Kausika and Abisha, that were from my old school, and my friends from my church youth group, I don't know where I would be today.
I've been married 30 years to my husband, Les, and my daughter's 23 years old, and this is my daughter, Amanda, growing up. Has your child ever looked you in the eyes and said, "Mommy, I love you so much, but it hurts so much. I want to die"? Bullying is not a game. This is Amanda's story. This is our story. When Amanda was in grade 7, the end of the year, the dynamics changed in the classroom. And 2 new girls came, and she knew right away there wasn't a click. They didn't like each other. But thank goodness at the end of that year, summer came quickly, and it was a great summer. She had friends. They were hanging out and swimming together, and at the end of the school year, they're really looking forward to grade 8. And if those of you that have children, you know grade 8 is the year that they graduate, that there's exciting things to do, and they look forward to this graduation end event all year long. And I didn't find out until much later that grade 8 was very different than what she expected. She arrived her first day of school, And when she got there, she said, "Mom, I knew something right away was wrong." Her best friends wouldn't talk to her. Grade 8, they had a chance to decide who they were going to sit with, and right away, no one wanted to sit with her. One of the girls from the year before that just was new came up to her right away and said, "You look like crap. Who did your makeup?" And it got worse. And if any of you remember those school years where you get that awful feeling in your stomach, you always know it's going to go away, but her awful feeling never went away. Some of the things the girls would do is when they were outside, she'd be hanging out with her best friends, and the other girls would come up and they'd pull them away and drag them away. So anytime she was out there with someone else, they kept pulling others away so that she'd be alone. They took her into parts of the schoolyard where teachers weren't there, so no one could detect them. And one time the girls would throw pennies at her. Another time they would whip her with their belts, and the other girls would stand and laugh. They made a website and they voted her the most unpopular girl in the class. And I remember once where she was telling me about Remembrance Day, which we just had, and all the kids were in a ceremony. They're all sitting in a row. And she said, "Mom, all of a sudden, I felt something in my back." And she said, "I turned around and I saw it was my former best friend, and she had a poppy in her hand, and she was pricking me." And she said, "I kept trying to pretend that it didn't hurt. I kept trying to pretend that I didn't feel it. I kept trying not to cry. Bullying is not a game." Parents have asked me, did I see the signs? And you know, I think about that, and I did, but I didn't recognize them. Because what happened was, if you think any of you that have grade 8 daughters, they can be pretty cranky, and she was pretty cranky. And at that point too, they can be pretty secretive because they don't want mom, they want to have their own friends, and she was pretty secretive. But I also noticed friends weren't coming around. So I said to her, "Amanda, where's your friends?" She said, "Oh, Mom, we're in grade 8. We have lots of studying to do." "Amanda, where's your friends?" "Oh, Mom, my friends are all on sports team." "Amanda, where's your friends?" "Oh, I just spoke to them on the phone." "Amanda, where's your friends?" "We're on the computer together." "Amanda, where's your friends? We're getting together this weekend." But it wasn't until there was 3 days in a row that she was sick. And you know those sicknesses where you just think, you know, in the morning they're sick, but at night they're fine. And I woke up that morning and I thought, there's something not right. And I said to her, "What's going on?" And she said, "Nothing." I said, "Yes, there is. I know there is. Tell me or I'm going to the school." And that's when I learned that the school knew she had been bullied. And they told her, along with the other girls, they needed to work it out. So they put all of the girls together in a classroom without a teacher to work it out. And if you can imagine what that conversation was like. And what they did was, they talked to Amanda, they asked her to leave, and they were going to decide what they were going to do. And then they brought Amanda back into the classroom, and they said, "You know, our teachers said that we didn't need to be friends, but we needed to be nice. So you can eat lunch with us, but we don't want to be your friend." And when the teacher came in to find out, did they deal with it, the kids said yes, and that was the end. Well, when I found out, I went into the school and I was very, very upset, and I spoke with the principal and I spoke with the vice principal, and you know, she apologized. She really, really did not mean any harm by this. And I wanted the parents of the kids to be called in.
So we are here at the location to talk to Superintendent Martin from 42nd Division. 42nd Division, in partnership with CPLC, has organized a crime conference to address bullying, especially for children in schools. So we're going to talk to Superintendent Martin to see what was the idea behind it.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great.
We're here at Stephen Leacock in Scarborough, which is part of 42 Division, and the CPLC, which is the Community Police Liaison Committee in 42 Division, has put this bullying crime conference together. And I think we've had 3 speakers so far, and fascinating. The crowd is riveted, and it's terrific. And I can't stress how important it is, because there are so many different layers and facets to bullying. You know, our Master of Ceremonies was talking about bullying in context of South Africa and apartheid, and then we had a young lady, a 16-year-old, who talked about her own experiences, and then we had a mother talking, and that was so poignant. It's been terrific. We've got a great group, and really engaged, and like I said, on the edge of their seats listening to the speakers. So I'm so pleased that the CPLC did this.
What were you hoping to accomplish?
Just to raise awareness, and we've got, the speakers are all from different perspectives. As I said, a victim, a mother, an author, a police officer, a school police officer that are scheduled to speak. So it's really bringing the different levels of their perspectives out to the forefront. And, I think there have been a couple of tips on what to do if you're a parent, what to do and what's come through loud and clear to me is the statistic that when a kid intervenes, it stops. And it was like in 60% of the cases when a bystander, particularly if it's another child, intervenes and says, "Stop, that's not cool," that it stops. So that's what I'm taking home from this.
Wonderful. It is as simple as somebody saying that what I see happening is not okay, and just speaking up, speaking out, and being a friend.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I am an online undercover officer, but the investigations that I do are mainly to do with child pornography and internet luring. But in saying that, as part of being online, I get an opportunity to see exactly what it's like to be a kid online, because I spend most of my day being a kid online, which is an interesting perspective. Another interesting thing is that, in addition to that, I'm a child interviewer. So I get a chance to speak with lots of kids about what's going on online. And I think it's quite interesting position to be in, because I get to see what your kids aren't telling you. So we're a very small unit. We work at a sex crimes unit. Some people actually don't even know we exist, but we do. Basically, we do child pornography investigations, internet luring investigations, child sex tourism investigations, and we're now starting to take on some sexting cases, which of course is a big thing in the news right now, and does have an element of bullying in it. I'll get a little bit further into sexting as we talk today. We don't specifically do online bullying investigations, but we do assist divisional units. I work out of headquarters, so we do assist divisional units if they have investigations that involve online types of specific investigations where they need help with what happens when the bullying occurs on Facebook, what happens if it occurs on Twitter. We're trained to help deal with that. Also, we do not deal with online harassment or threatening, but we can assist with that, and that is also part of some of the sexting investigations that we're doing. And we also don't do anything to do with fraud, homicide, or anything like that, but we will assist those units if they need us. So in addition to the child pornography investigations, this is a big part of our investigations, and this is when people are trying to lure children online to meet with them, to do terrible things with them. We not only deal with the aftermath when children actually do meet up with these people, but we actively participate online to be lured ourselves. I've been lured many, many times, hoping that when we do meet these people, they will actually meet with us and we can arrest them.
Hey, Sarah.
Oh my gosh, he's so cute. How do you know him?
Come on, Donovan, do it like I taught you. Love the new tattoo, Sarah. Let's go!
Dude, what? Dude, that's Sarah. The girl in the pink shirt. That's the girl I was telling you about.
Oh, that's Sarah?
Theater 2 on your left. Hey, Sarah. What color underwear today?
Hey, Sarah. So when are you going to post something new?
Anything you post online, anyone can see. Family, friends,
See you later, Sarah.
even not so friendly people. Think before you post.
Oh, man. Oh, dude, check it out. Feel back with
Compound A, 46.7% by weight. Compound B.
Once you post your image online, you can't take it back. Anyone can see it. Family, friends, anyone. Remember, think before you post.
The dangers of sexting. So for example, in that video there, you don't exactly know sometimes when someone asks you for a picture of yourself where you're sending it to. Because you could be sending it to one of your friends, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, but you could be sending it to a complete stranger and somebody that has a sexual interest in children. Dangers of sexting, as we talked about, you could be arrested. It can ruin your reputation. A picture is permanent, especially when it's placed online. And even if we try to take it down for you, it doesn't mean that somebody hasn't saved it on their phone, you know, or on a USB or something like that, and can repost it. So everything that you do online is permanent. It's very important for kids to know that. Also, it can lead to bullying, because once a picture like that is out about you, just imagine how badly you can be treated when somebody sees something, a picture of you, perhaps in a sexually explicit way. I like this one here, because a lot of people don't think. They think that their peers are going to see their pictures, perhaps, but maybe not their family.
But the most important people to me are all these people here, because they're the ones that can shift the power. If they support Jock and say, yeah, that's right, women shouldn't be in this race, that's the end of that story. But if they all shift the power to support this guy here and say, that's right, what are you doing? Stop hitting her. That's not right. That changes things. That changes the structure of the situation. Or you could be this guy right here. I don't know if you see him at the bottom there. He's like, too bad for you, I got a race to run. So the question I'm asking you is, how many of us are actually playing that role? Thinking about realities for women and girls and thinking about what we can do to change those and how they impact us as men and women, men and young men as well. Because these are the core pieces when we talk about bullying and bullying culture. These are the core elements. So we have a site called It Starts With You that gives you tips, tools, and resources on how to be a role model to men in your life, young men and boys.
I'm going to touch very briefly on some of the things that I do in this school. Again, my name is Jamie Knox. Okay, I work next door at Stephen Leacock. This is my second school year here. I'm going to tell you about my experience the first school year that I started at Stephen Leacock. Okay, so my first couple of weeks at Stephen Leacock, I wasn't really sure what to do. I wasn't really sure what my role was. I wasn't really sure where I fit in the school. You know, here I am all alone. I got some, you know, pretty high-risk kids and some high-need kids that feed into my school, and they don't really like the police all that much often. Okay? So what I did was I got in touch with my administration, who were fantastic and very welcoming. They said, come on in, talk to the kids, you know, sit in the office, come see what the kids have to say, see what's going on in the hallways, right? So I hung out in the hallways. I sat in the office. I talked to people, right? It wasn't all police matters. Almost none of it was police matters. But I was lucky to just be involved, just talk to the kids, okay? They got to see me as a human being. Made a big deal. 4 things happened for me in my first month at Stephen Leacock, okay? 3 of them involved bullying. The last one was also a bullying event, but you want to know who the victim of the bullying was? was me. I'll tell you about that one first. I was standing, and you have to imagine my surprise as I am standing in the hallway of a high school in my uniform, feeling very official and very important, and here I am, and I'm going to save the world, and one child at a time. And there's a child who's decided he doesn't like the police. He's a 17-year-old boy. He's a typical bully in the school. And I'm standing in the hallway, minding my business, speaking to the children, and he's saying to his friends, somebody in this hallway is making me sick. Somebody in this hallway makes me want to throw up. I can't even take it. And I'm kind of like, really? Is this 17-year-old boy trying to bully the police? Here I am thinking to myself, like, is this really happening? So he says it again, and he's looking right at me now, and he's trying to get a rise out of his friends, and he's saying to me, somebody in here, I don't know who, but somebody near me is really making me want to throw up. My response was, I'm sorry, are you talking to me? Well, yeah, because you're kind of gross, was his answer. And I thought, okay, fair enough. I looked at his friends and the group of people that were standing around with him, and I said, who here thinks I'm gross? Nobody had anything to say. You have to appreciate that nobody had anything to say. What do you think happened? What do you think happened to his friends? None of his friends wanted to join him. What do you think happened? They joined me. Or it stopped, right? Which is the point. That's kind of what we want in bullying, right? We just want it to stop. Okay? So that was my personal experience with it. You have to understand that as a police officer, I was still a little bit amazed to have been bullied in a high school hallway. Okay? So that kind of got me thinking, and I thought to myself, what's going on in the hallways? If these kids are so bold that they're going to try and bully the police, you know, what is going on with the students? 3 things happened to me that shaped my, view. As I said, I have a young son. I don't have a high school son. I'm not that young, okay? I went to high school quite some time ago, but it was different than it is now. First thing that happened, young girl came into the office. She's absolutely in tears, okay? It just happened to be a day where I was lucky enough that I had my jeans on. Sometimes it's a little easier to take the police when we're in jeans and a t-shirt than in our uniform. It is our practice to be in our uniform most of the time, but we're lucky enough to just go casual some days. She was in tears, and I said to her, what's going on? Are y'all right? The vice principal seemed to be busy that day. I said, what's going on? Are y'all right? And her hair was a mess, and she had tears everywhere. This is a girl who's 16 years old. I said, what's going on? She says, Miss, I was in class and something horrible happened. And I said, what happened? And she says to me, the girls in my class emptied my backpack. They took out my feminine products. They colored on them with a marker. They stuck them in my hair. And they put them on the board, and they said, Vanessa sucks, is what they wrote. The teacher, I don't know what the teacher was. The teacher had stepped out of the classroom for a minute. Okay? These girls went through her backpack, dumped everything on the floor, took out her very personal items, okay? And in front of the entire class, embarrassed this girl to no end, okay? We dealt with the issue. But she still deals with that today. She still talks about it, and she'll still come to see me, and she calls me Yo Miss. A lot of the kids in the hallways will call me Yo Miss, right? Yo Miss, what's going on? So she'll still come and talk to me. Not long after that, this same young girl who was in the classroom with the very private matters all up on the board and, very embarrassed and crying and all the rest of it, she ended up in the office again. Do you want to know who she was this time? Can you guys guess? The bully. That's right. She was the bully this time, right? And we had sat down, at the end we had sat down and said, let's work it out. And we thought everything was good. We sat with the kids with the permission of the parents, and we said, let's work this out with these issues. We said to the bullies, how you made this young girl feel by doing this. Everybody understood, and off they went. I thought the issue was dealt with. This is me, right? No idea. I thought it was dealt with. Boy, was I wrong. Because she turned around a month and a half later, and here she was in the office, and she was the bully, just like you said.
That's all for this week. Thank you for being with us. We'll see you again, same time, same place. I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to send us your comments and your phone calls. We'd love to hear from you. Until then, this is Molly saying have a great week. And before I go, let me remind you once again, being good and kind to a stranger is a good thing. Have a great week.